So Oceanit, if you don't know, is a company based in Hawaii. We're founded in Honolulu. We've always been here. We work in downtown. And so we're kind of centered in the world of tech innovation. We look at developing new technologies and figuring out ways to implement it in the world to make meaningful impact and improvement on what's going on. And we work in all sorts of fields. Like here today, Sarah's in electrical engineering, Grant's in civil engineering. We do a lot of environmental engineering. My background's in materials and chemical engineering. We do biomedical work. We do business consulting. Really, we kind of work across the board, and anywhere that we can see implementing innovation in technology and business, that's where we're playing. So kind of that's a little background about what we do at Oceanit, and I'll let Grant start us off.
All right, so I'll talk to you guys a little bit about engineering in general and what I do, civil engineering. So we'll start off with this slide. Engineer, someone who does precision guesswork based on unreliable data provided by those of questionable knowledge. In civil engineering, we do stuff that people take for granted. I mean, infrastructure really is, I feel, stuff that people take for granted, and I kind of like it that way, because I tell myself, I never want to be on the news, man, because if I'm on the news, that usually means something bad happening. When you turn on the water, you expect the water to actually come out of the faucet, right? But an engineer needs to design that. We decide how much pressure is going to come out of that faucet, because we could easily design the thing to just have a little dribble, or we could make it so much pressure that the thing would just blow the faucet right off the sink. So now getting into the challenges of the future of Hawaii. As you get into it, you start to know about engineering and you start to see these things. Infrastructure is built around it. And so you as when you guys become my age, you guys are going to be the ones that have to decide, hey, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Sometimes this is what life looks like. You see happiness right there, it's the goal, you want to take it, but then bam, life hits you right in the face. And so you guys are going to face all of these obstacles, so I wanted to share with you some things that I've learned over the years to become where I am today. So the first one is don't wait for someone to ask you to do something, or don't wait for an opportunity to just present itself to you. Sometimes the thing you want, or the opportunity you want, or the position you want doesn't exist. Don't be afraid to speak up for what you want. Sometimes it can be a little intimidating. For me, one of the major challenges that I face is being a female in a very male-dominated field of study and career. I was one of 8 females in a class of like over 120 people, and so it can be kind of nerve-wracking to speak your mind and to give your ideas. But whatever it is that makes you different, or whatever it is that makes you a minority, that's also what makes you stronger. Different ideas and different perspectives really make the solution much better. The point is, be really confident. Be confident in what you say, be confident in what you do, because if you don't believe in yourself, then nobody else is going to believe you either. So make sure you have confidence in whatever it is you're doing. And then the last tip is, in order to be confident, you have to do your homework. So make sure you know what you're talking about, otherwise it can come back and get you in the butt later on.
In the last 2 years, we started this program called Altino Coding, where we help teachers learn programming. And so for the last 2 years, we just developed, and this is kind of like a really good example of kind of not being afraid of just jumping into a problem, because I had never been an official teacher, and here I am teaching teachers how to teach their class. So in 2 years, we went from having no idea what we're doing, and now we're kind of one of the only official coding classes that train teachers on how to do coding in the classroom. And that's just kind of jumping in, figuring out as we go, asking questions, not being afraid to not be the expert. I teach a lesson, and then right away at the end of the lesson, I go to the teachers, okay, so what did I do wrong? It's okay to not be perfect, as long as you're willing to work on improving. I failed my first class in college, but the key is, I failed my class, but I still graduate. Life is always gonna set up failures, and so you're gonna have to sometimes retake a class in order to graduate. And as long as you grit it out, get up, learn from your failures, like Sarah said, do your homework, you can recover from failures. And kind of a big part of like what Grant was saying, you know, in life, you're going to fail. There's going to be things that you don't know until you try it, and then you find out the hard way that, oh, it's not what I thought it was like. But you got to take those as learning moments and pick yourself up and go at it. So that's another thing is the best way to overcome challenges is having a team of people helping you and working together as a group and collaborating. That's kind of the way that I get through most of my challenges, relying on other people to help me out and helping other people with their challenges, because we all have our areas of expertise. And so at Oceanit, even though we're in totally different groups, we help each other out all the
I
time.
wasn't really sure what I wanted to do when I first got to college. My first major was totally chemical engineering, like Smil, but I found out I hated chemistry. And I was like, I don't know why I'm doing this. And when I joined the robotics team, that's when I was like, wow, I really like working with hardware. I like working with things that I see every day. I think that was really cool, but you won't know something until you try.
For me, I like to figure out how things work and then problem solving too. So that's pretty much what an engineer does. You come across a problem, you try to figure out what's going on, and then you fix it or solve it or come up with a better way to do that or solve that problem. And so for me, I've always been interested in like taking things apart, putting it back together, figuring out how things work. And that's why I've always kind of liked engineering. I kind of liked chemistry in high school, and so that's why I did chemical engineering.
That's a very, very good question that you guys would have to, deal with. I mean, I don't have any student debt, but I see the tuitions just skyrocketing. And just so you guys know, student loans is the only loan that is not cleared by bankruptcy. So once you get into these student loans, you're in it for like there is no out. So just want to make you guys aware of that again.
I think what you should take away from that is be wise about what you choose to do and what you choose to pursue. Like when you go to school, do it with intention. Don't just kind of take it easy because you're paying for it. Right?
Yeah.
When you go to school, think about it and make sure you get your money's worth.
I think my biggest challenge was trying to juggle having a social life while being an engineer. Have you ever seen the diagram where it's like choose 3 things like social life, good grades, and like time? Yeah, you really only get to choose 2 of those. So I think it was just finding a balance between making sure I was enjoying my college experience, but also studying and getting good grades. So I didn't sleep very much.
If you can engineer one thing in the world without limits, what would it be?
Colonizing another planet, I guess, would be me.
Shooting for the stars.
I think clean water is something that everybody, because that's still a really big problem right now, is making sure everybody has access to clean water without using so much energy.
Hey, that's my field. I was gonna go for that. Figuring out filter membranes for cleaning water cheaply and energy cheaply. I think so. Kind of the biggest problems in the world are clean water, food, and then energy. How do we beat those without destroying our world and being sustainable? So being able to come up with solutions for all 3 of those things, I think would be super awesome. And hopefully eventually I go down a path that at least works on one of those, if not all 3 of those problems.
Grant and I kind of started at the same time, so we're still right in the middle of all the projects we just started. But I guess my biggest accomplishment is everything that I'm working on now, I've never done before. Like I've never done FPGA, which is like hardware development. I've never worked with radios. I've never worked with, right now we're doing a project with the Navy. It has to do with a dive helmet. And you're trying to take someone's voice who sounds like a chipmunk and then turn it into something that sounds like how we talk. So all this brand new stuff is really cool, but hopefully I'll get to see the results of that in like another year.